Everyone. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me for your daily collective reading. So some of you guys are having an outburst, like a release of energy. This is excitement, joy, victory, exhilaration. You are releasing energy so that you can have more room to do new things. So releasing energy to make room for new experiences, new ideas, new projects, newness. Releasing old energy to make room for new energy. I guess the old energy is so dense and heavy that it's depleting you. You feel drained, maybe overwhelmed. So maybe you're having some sort of outburst today or within the next few days. We do have the new moon in Pisces today. And Pisces is about releasing emotional blockages, stress, ideas, expectations, anger. There's a lot of release going on with this new moon in Pisces. I think you realize that in order to create something new, you have to let go of old energy. So, I wouldn't say let go. Is it recycling, transmuting, transferring? It could be recycling. So as energy is expelled by way of some sort of outburst or intense activity, that is being recycled so that you have the energy to do something new. You have to release old energy to have the energy for something new. Release memories, pain, expectations, identity, old attachments to make way for newness. Newness, everything new. Someone's excited or relieved of something. It's like an expelling of energy. It's like exhaling. One big exhale leads to a bigger inhale. So energy is being expelled to make room for new energy. Something's being recycled back into the universe, into your body, but it's taking on a different form and shape. Spirit guides, I need some insight for the collective. Just a quick release of energy. Exhalation. I don't even want to say expiration. Something is expired. Something has expired and now you're inspired. Call, judgment. Something is expiring or has expired. Answering the call. Four of Wands. Right. New foundation. This is Aries energy. Going from Pisces to Aries. King of Pentacles. This card keeps coming out. Taurus energy. The end of the crumbling of structures of beliefs. This reminds me of the Hierophant. Okay. So some of you guys are releasing generations, years and generations of trauma. This full moon in Pisces, which is forming a stellium with Neptune, the North Node, and Saturn, and Mercury. This is releasing of generational trauma from the father side of the family. And this trauma is about provision, protection, stability, resources, life force, energy, value, Venus energy, money, relationships. You are cultivating a new relationship with yourself by way of releasing old energy. But the old energy is being recycled. It's being processed, not to be utilized again in its same form, like not to be cleaned up or like filtered out. It's like food. Like somebody having an outburst of excitement and anger, or not even anger, like an athlete that scores a touchdown or dunks on another player and they scream, yeah, right? That energy is like exhilarating. It's like, I won, I did it. Someone's dunking on somebody, or they feel like they've dunked on someone energetically, or they're dunking on life itself. Like they're like, you try to get me, you try to take me down, or you try to beat me down, but I'm still here. That kind of energy, like this victory. So someone's breaking a generational curse, courtesy of this Pisces stellium. Because Pisces rules the 12th house of past lives, right? All the water houses deal with the past lives, or genetic material, blood, ancestry, the mother, things of that nature, things that you inherit through the bloodline. That's the water houses. So we have all the stellium energy here in Pisces. And this is like ancestral, cultural foundations, your identity, 4 of Wands. Aries energy, the first house, your identity, things that you have inherited from childhood, from your family, from ancestry, father, structure, patriarchy, orthodoxy. Final call for that. Judgment. Someone is free of something. Something's expired. So expiration leads to inspiration, essentially. Spirit guides, please continue this message. Expiration leads to inspiration. Somebody gave me life. Is that Casey and JoJo? Someone feels like they're reborn. Aries, Taurus, the final call. Being reborn. Someone has paid off some sort of karmic debt. It's like cashing a final check at a job that you're no longer working at. You quit the job, or you resign, or you're working somewhere else, and you receive your final check in the mail. And you're finally free of that place. You didn't want to work there anymore. It's like relief, release of some sort of structure, contract, a karmic contract that came from the father side of the family, or was caused by a father figure. This is generational with judgment. Many lifetimes. King of Pentacles again. This card keeps coming out every single day, almost. Hangman, past life, Pisces, Taurus energy. The Hangman it represents someone who's stuck in limbo. You couldn't make any progress because of some sort of karmic debt or obligation to the family, to this Taurus person. A very strong, rigid, stable, solid, strict person. It's like you couldn't live your life fully because you were still under the auspices or control of this King of Pentacles person, a Taurus person, or an earth sign, or a father figure. You were living according to their rules, their structure, the way they raised you. Hold on one second. So these two energies are very contradicting, because the King of Pentacles is very structured, organized. It plans ahead. It deals with routines and predictability and focusing on practical matters, paying bills, going to work, tilling the soil, planting the crops, taking care of the kids and their responsibilities, building one's material success, comfort, stability, resources, etc. The Hangman is not concerned with that too much. The Hangman here, it seems like you guys don't know if you want to stay in a certain career path, or I don't know. This is like your foundations or beliefs, whatever it was that gave you stability, it's now crumbling. You're questioning your ideas, your beliefs, your values, your career path. You're questioning whether or not you want to continue in this direction, or how you got to this place in the first place. Are your beliefs your own? Is your life your own? Or is your life a product of someone else's conditioning, training, programming, socialization? Are you who you want to be, or are you a product of your environment, of your upbringing, your family dynamics? So now you're questioning your values. You're questioning everything that was the basis of your stability or your identity. You're questioning yourself, your life in general. Like, who am I? Why am I here? What am I here to do? Six of Wands, victory. I mentioned the victory lap earlier. Yeah, okay. King of Swords and the Temperance card. So here's the deal, right? I think some of you have successfully broken free from some sort of programming, a fear of being yourself. You could be seeing your father differently, or your childhood differently. This is a victory lap. It's like rediscovering your inner child. Princess of Cups, that's like the Page of Cups, or a very young woman. Your inner child, reconnecting with your inner child. This King of Pentacles is a source of security for the Princess of Cups, but your security is not making you feel secure anymore. It feels like you're trapped, or you're stuck in limbo. So you may have cultivated an identity or lifestyle to protect this Princess of Cups, or to give this Princess of Cups stability, or a sense of knowing and a sense of identity. Sorry about that again. Okay, so yeah, right. This King of Pentacles provided the Princess of Cups a lot of structure, protection, and stability, but at the expense of her growth. Right? This is like someone who never really grew up fully, someone who still looks to their parents for approval or acceptance, looks to others for acceptance. Somebody could have Cancer placements in their chart, moon afflictions. Someone was not allowed to grow up or able to grow up because they were still looking to other people for approval, like a father figure, or like I don't know, a guardian. So someone was sheltered to the point where they were never able to fully be on their own emotionally. It's like emotional immaturity. Someone is older they're in their late 20s, early 30s, even 40s, still looking for approval from their parents or their father. This is where you were. I think you're breaking free of that now. I think you're realizing that your life is small, or you're not reaching your full potential because you are looking back or looking for approval from people who could never help you to reach your full potential. So while your parents gave you structure, maybe stability, safety and security to some extent, the way they raised you did not help you to foster your own identity. They raised you in a way that made it easier for them to control you and to control your growth, your progress, your mind. So what you thought was stability or security was actually a form of control, and you're realizing that now, and you're breaking free from that programming. It was actually quite not insidious, but it was interesting how it happened, because on the surface, this person, this King of Pentacles person, gave you structure. They were your parent. They were supposed to be a certain way according to you. But as you get older, you're realizing that the way they raised you was very limited, because they were limited. They were not perfect. You could have put these people on a pedestal to the point where you sought validation from them, even though you may be more successful than them, maybe more intelligent than them, or wiser than them. You saw these people as a source of security, wisdom, protection, and that wasn't the case. They did their job to the best of their ability, but they cut you off from yourself. King of Swords and the Temperance card. They cut you off from your own ability. It's like the way they raised you made it hard for you to take care of yourself as an independent, autonomous person. They wanted you to look to them for approval and acceptance and everything that you did, so that you would not break the rules, so you wouldn't make them uncomfortable or make their lives inconvenient in some way. And so it's a catch-22 here, because they did do their job. They took care of you. They were there. At least they were there, right? Quote unquote. At least they were there. But them being there actually stunted your growth emotionally, mentally, maybe even financially. This is Leo energy, Leo and Aquarius. Looking for doing their things for their attention and validation. That's where you were. You're breaking free from that now. You're breaking free from that mentality now. Those structures are dissolving, courtesy of the Pisces stellium. Those structures are breaking down. It's like, I don't know, you're being reborn. You're being reborn here with a new sense of awareness and a newfound sense of security, not based on what your parents can give you, but what you gave yourself, what you're giving yourself. 8 of Pentacles. Working hard to accomplish a goal. This is you putting in the work to create your own stability, financial stability and security. Virgo energy. Virgo's opposite of Pisces. Virgo deals with analysis. You're analyzing your whole life and how you got to where you are today. And it's like what was once a source of security for you, it was once a benchmark or guideposts or structure for you. That structure that your father or your parents gave you, I'm seeing father mainly with the King of Pentacles, that structure that was given to you has actually become a prison for you. It's limited you because your parents did not raise you to be free to be creative, to be rebellious, to be inventive, to be courageous. They didn't raise you to be courageous. They raised you to be scared, because it made it easier for them to control you if you were scared of them. Not in an abusive way per se, but like a very strict, structured upbringing that made it easier for them to control you. So if you follow their rules, then you're a good daughter or a good son, and you're a good citizen if you follow the rules. But that system has stunted your growth emotionally, mentally. And so now you look to them for permission to live your life fully, even as a grown person. Magician, you have all the tools that you need to manifest the future that you want. This is your power. You're taking your power back. So perhaps as a child or a young adult, you were accomplishing goals to please your parents, or your parents' approval and their validation. Now you're working for yourself. You're pulling energy away from them. That contract or that sense of obligations that expired. So the energy that you were using to please them, to seek their validation, you're now seeking validation from yourself, or you're pouring that energy into your own personal projects, your own life. So there's a transference here of energy. These are the resources you already have. You have the intellect, the experience, the knowledge, the skills, the discipline. You have all of this already. But instead of using your skills, gifts, and abilities to please your parents, or to seek your parents' approval in some way, or society's approval, you're now putting that into yourself. Like somebody starting their own business. They're saying, instead of me making somebody else rich, I can use my 8 hours a day to make myself rich. Something like that. Energy is being transmuted with the 8 of Pentacles and the Magician card. Five of the King of Pentacles and the Hangman, please. Yeah, High Priestess, Tower. Did I mention the Tower earlier? Princess of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, Princess of Wands, and Six of Swords. The Tower is definitely the end of a paradigm. I think I did mention the Tower earlier. I'm not sure. So Uranus is in Taurus. And Taurus represents the King of Pentacles. Uranus is the Tower. So this is like an epiphany or an awakening, but it's not external. It's internal with the High Priestess. It's like, oh, now I understand. Connecting all the dots, all the pieces fit together. There was some sort of disassociation going on here. You guys could have inconjunctions in your chart. Like Cancer and Sagittarius, Taurus and Sagittarius, Scorpio and Aries, Scorpio and Gemini, like those inconjunctions in your chart. It was hard for you to understand why you were doing certain things, and you would justify your behavior or your parents' behavior. You would make excuses for certain things. Like they did the best they could, or they did a good job, or if it wasn't for them, then I wouldn't be whatever. You are now aware of the fact that the way your parents raised you, it wasn't horrible, but it was obstructive to your development in some way. Your spiritual development, emotional, psychological, it was not the best. So they may have convinced you that you were not lucky, but fortunate to have them in your life, and they gave you a lot of guidance and wisdom and whatever. But they were also very limited. They're human. They're not infallible. They're not perfect, right? And I think you put them on a pedestal to the point where you sought their validation, even though at this point in your life, you are more successful than them, or you're wiser than them, more intelligent than them. Not say you're better, like they're bad parents. It's not that. It's just that your soul was always more evolved than theirs. So even though they were your parents, they were very limited in their evolution or their development. They did the best they could with what they had, but you sorry about that. They did the very best that they could, but you have outgrown them. You've outgrown them. You've run some sort of race, and I think you're realizing that you don't need them for approval anymore, and you're grown. Somebody here is really grown. Clarify the princess, sorry, the Eight of Pentacles and the Magician. We have Nine of Pentacles, Lover's card, Ten of Wands. Okay. Six of Cups and the Two of Swords and the Four of Pentacles. We'll look at that later. Four of Swords, the Empress, and the Seven of Swords. Okay, yeah. So listen, Nine of Pentacles, this is what you're working towards. The Two of Cups is a love relationship, Ten of Wands. It's like, okay, this is... The Empress is here. See? So your parents were like the Taurus energy, and you're the Empress. You're like a step above that. But you were lying to yourself about your value. You're lying to yourself about who you were. Or you were limiting, something was stolen from you, I guess. Time, energy. You weren't even able to have healthy relationships because of the way your parents raised you. It's like they raised you to be codependent or stunted. Dude, this is being emotionally stunted. This is being emotionally stunted. I think you've come to this awareness because of a love relationship, a breakup, or you may want to manifest a love relationship. And you're realizing that the reason why you haven't had healthy relationships or happy relationships up to this point is because of the same old mentality. Like the way your parents raised you has limited you in every area of your life, from relationships to career. I don't think they did it on purpose, but they did it to control you better. So it's easier for me to raise an obedient child who won't get in trouble, who won't ask questions, who doesn't have a sense of self or identity. It's like who looks to me for approval and acceptance. And so you carry that attitude in your relationships, and it was very burdensome for the people you were dealing with and even yourself, because you were fake. Not fake like disingenuous, but like you didn't even know who you were. So you were showing up as somebody else. Seven of Swords and a 10 of... You're tired of lying to yourself about this? King of Wands and the Ace of Swords. Yes. Tired of lying. Three of Wands and the Four of Pentacles again that came out earlier. Yeah, you're tired of lying to yourself about this situation. You move this over. It's like in the past, you may have blamed your exes for relationships not working out, and they could have been the culprit, but you were also responsible. So there's this whole woe is me, nobody wants me, I'm always the victim here. That kind of mentality with the Hangman. But in actuality, you also played a role in the dysfunction of your relationships because you weren't even showing up. You were somebody else. You were somebody else. So it's like these people could not even connect to you or with you because you weren't even showing up as you were. You were attracting people like you. People who were insincere, maybe. Not always insincere. They were wearing masks. They were putting on these masks to impress you. And you do the same thing. You've done the same thing. You're overly accommodating, really sweet, kind, whatever. You do all this. The Seven of Swords and the Empress card, you're overly generous and accommodating while you're depleted and drained of energy and resources. It's like somebody with no money acting like they have enough money to take care of their husband or their wife or whatever. You're drained and depleted. So why are you giving more to someone else than you're giving to yourself? 4 of Swords and a 7 of Swords. Empress card. There's no balance. So it's like you were overcompensating for this insecurity and this need to get validation from your partners, like your father or your parents. But it manifested as maybe you being too generous to them, being too accommodating, too forgiving, too accessible, no boundaries. But now you're working to get out of that space. King of Wands. Princess, is the Queen of Wands here? The Princess of Wands is here. Hold on a second. Yeah, the Princess of Wands is here. It's like you're graduating, you're evolving, you're growing. You are becoming more independent, resilient, confident in yourself. You're trying to manifest a divine counterpart. I hate that term. You're trying to manifest a life partner. Someone who you tolerate, someone who tolerates you, someone who you love, who you enjoy being with, who you can build with, who isn't crazy, who isn't delusional or deceptive. You're trying to manifest a healthy relationship with someone else, and you're realizing that you have to have one with yourself first, and you did not do that. Like, relationships for you were like a labor of love. They were very difficult because you did all the heavy lifting. You're the one doing all the work. So you're with somebody, but you're the one doing all the emotional lifting, the emotional labor, financial labor. You're paying all the bills. You're being overly accommodating, being overly like generous. There's no reciprocity. You're not receiving anything in return. All you want is their validation, like your parents. Your parents may have been very strict towards you and have given you very little in return for your obedience. They gave you the bare minimum, or they didn't like, you weren't rewarded for your obedience. You were just, I don't want to say tolerated, but you weren't punished. So they didn't punish you because you were a well-behaved child, but they didn't reward you either. Like, you didn't get like a lot of resources or gifts or money or anything. You just got what you got. I don't know. I don't say the bare minimum. You didn't get more than what they thought you needed. There was no celebration of you. You weren't celebrated as a child. You were tolerated in a sense. Like, you were doing what you were supposed to do. You were a good kid. You didn't cause any trouble. And so it made it easier for your parents to ignore you or to ignore your needs or your own identity because you were just there to make their lives easier in some way, shape, or form. And you weren't allowed to be yourself or express yourself in some way. And so that caused problems for you in other areas of your life as an adult. Even now. More advice, please, for the collective, and I'm going to close it out. More advice for the collective. We have, I don't need all this. Yeah, karma. I mentioned karma earlier, but I'm going to take these because I did shuffle twice. Karma. I mentioned family karma earlier. The judgment call, King of Earth. You've paid some sort of karmic debt to your family. You don't have to follow their rules anymore. It's like their rules, the way they raised you is etched in your brain. Even as an adult, you act as if you're still living with them, as if you're still seeking their approval, as if their opinion of you still matters. Like, if I disappoint my parents, I'm going to starve, or they'll be disappointed in me and then they won't love me anymore. As if you still need that for survival. Something here is about survival. Like, you could have been punished as a kid for not behaving and then deprived of certain things as a punishment, like deprived of food or money or clothes or whatever. You were deprived of attention or love if you didn't do what they wanted you to do. And you're still doing that now. Like, you're still living a very timid, meek, small life because you don't want to disappoint your parents. But they don't care anymore, or they don't matter anymore. They're older. You're grown. You are grown. Just like they're grown and did what they wanted to do, you have the right to do the same thing. Whoever this person was, their parents are very successful at brainwashing their children into obedience and subservience. Karma, consequences, cause and effect, debts. You pay your debts off. Longing, craving, aching, wanting. Obscurity, secrets, mysteries, concealing. Right? The obscurity for me is like you being ignored or feeling invisible or invalidated if you didn't do what your parents wanted you to do. And now you act this way in relationships. What's the word? You render yourself invisible or insignificant in your own relationships. So it's like you want to do whatever your partner wants to do. You don't have your own identity. You don't have your own wants and needs. You want to be whatever they want you to be. You pretty much hide yourself or ignore yourself in relationships the same way your parents did. Past life. I mentioned the 12th house placement. This is a generational karmic debt that has been paid off. You're done with this. And intuition. We have the high priestess energy here with the tower. This is like this is an epiphany. It's not like something happened, like you go through a divorce or lose your job or get in an accident. It's not that. It's like some sort of awareness or awakening. Could be from a dream or a message or conversations or introspection, reflection, analysis, counseling, therapy, things of that nature. You were longing for your parents' approval or some sort of acceptance. And this is generational. And it's like your parents, we have this, it's not a full moon. It's like it could be waxing or waning. But secrets, mysteries, and concealing yourself. Concealing your identity, your value, your existence, your life. Like you were raised to be invisible so that it's easier for your parents to deal with you. If you don't want for anything, if you don't make trouble, or if you don't have your own identity, it's easier for them to tolerate you because now it doesn't require much work. You just follow the rules, do what they say, and that's it. Now they can pretend to be good parents and not really have to do the work of parenting. Conversation, taking you places, giving you affirmation, love, support, attention. They didn't have to do that. Heart song, telepathy, inner knowing. I think you're waking up to this now. Today or over the next 6 months, you'll start to see this as an issue that you have resolved. It's so liberating. Some of you guys are like, oh my God, it's like you feel like you're moving out of the house for the first time, but you've been living on your own for how many years? Some of you guys are in your late 20s, 30s, maybe even 40s. And you feel like I get to stay out late. I get to get in trouble and not feel ashamed about it. It's like, I don't know. Like you're finally grown. I'm not going to say you're going to be rebellious and like self-destructive. It's not that. But you had this monkey on your back, and that monkey was your parents nagging you. They were a nagging energy. Like they were like Saturn holding you back. Very structured, rigid, disciplinarian, hard, traditional, cold, detached energy. You were craving for their acceptance, and so you hid yourself to make it easier for them to raise you or be around you. I'll be the perfect daughter or the perfect son. I won't cause any problems. And now you're grown. Does it matter what they think about you now? You're paying your own bills. You're taking care of yourself. Who cares what they think? As long as you're not being a deviant that's destroying the community, what does it matter what you do for your own life? This ain't about them. It's about you. More information, please, for the collective. That's crazy. You're being reborn. You're being planned wisely. Chess pieces. Cultivate success through meticulous research, Eight of Pentacles, and strategic plotting. Your foresight will unveil new paths. So the energy you are putting in your life, in certain projects, at your job, to please your parents, you're now transferring that energy to yourself. So you're not working for their validation, their approval. You're doing it for your validation, your approval. It's transferring over. You're doing the same work maybe, but you're shifting the focus, or you're shifting the intent. Your intentions are changing. Go your own way. Trust your intuition and embrace individuality. Paving your path with courage and authenticity. That's not how your parents raised you. Your parents raised you to be meek and small and convenient, not a burden. Going your own way. Right. Because they raised you, I guess, and it's over. So what do you care how they feel about what you're doing in your life? Highest good. Embrace the journey with openness, trusting in the universe to lead you towards your greatest fulfillment, right? Your parents couldn't do that for you. They raised you to be a good child according to what was convenient for them. That's all it was. I mean, I'm sure they, instilled values in you and stuff like that, but that wasn't the main intention. The intention was to make it easier for them to raise children. They didn't want you to give them too much of a headache. Raising children is expensive, it's time consuming. And so if you are getting in trouble, if you're independent, if you're free, you can put yourself in situations where they have to now use more energy to raise you or pay attention to you. They did not want to have to give you too much attention. So they raised you to be small and quiet and insignificant and invisible and obscure. And you did that to please them. I'm a good child because I don't cause any trouble. I don't ask any questions. I don't do what I'm allowed to do. But that kept you small and that benefited them. You're getting out of that space now. You're growing out of it. You're breaking free psychologically and emotionally from your parents' vice grip. More information, please, for the collective, and that's it for today. Keep going. It may feel as though you've been on this path or journey for so long, and you may even wonder if you're making any progress toward your dreams. This message is a loving reminder for you to keep going. You're almost there, right? So the reason why you felt like this was drudgery and your life was kind of stalled is because your energy was being transferred towards your parents. You weren't transferring your energy to yourself. So all the effort you put into your career, into your everything, your whole life, it was for their validation. And so they were being nourished by that. They were being fed by your need for validation from them. Now you're doing the same work, but your intentions are to have a healthier, happy life for you, to live on your own terms. And you'll see a lot more growth and success in your career because now the energy of intent is being transferred to you and not to your parents. So now it's like a concentration or an amplification of energy. Neptune and Jupiter in aspect. Not only is it being more concentrated with courtesy of Saturn, because Saturn also concentrates energy because it keeps it condensed and hard and firm, and like you're forced to stay in one place and work through that process and perfect it. That also intensifies it and increases its concentration and strength. But that's also that situation, that process is it's helping. It's almost like you're raising yourself. You're feeding yourself for the first time. You're nourishing yourself in a way that your parents could not or would not when you were growing up. And so it's like that's crazy. You're going to realize, you're going to be like, okay, I've been doing the same thing for 5 months or 5 years and I haven't made any progress. As soon as I said I'm going to do this for myself, Everything is falling into place. I'm getting more attention. I'm getting raises, promotions, compliments. I'm getting more attention from other people once that intention is transferred to me, to my benefit, to my success, to my happiness, and not for my parents' validation. It's weird. One more, please, and then we'll close it out. Close it out. Close it out. Reassess. You're being asked to take stock of your life and let go of anything or anyone that no longer makes you happy. Right. Take stock of your whole life. King of Pentacles and the Hangman. Everything that you are, what you've built, what you've fostered, cultivated, manifested, attracted, created, was for your parents' validation or for their approval. It was a system they put in place to keep you under control. And you're now going to take that from them and give it to yourself. Notice who and what brings you joy and who and what does not. It is time for a life cleanup. Virgo energy, filtration. And also the eclipses in Pisces, cleaning up past life baggage, subconscious attachments, right? Cleaning up this sense of there is no me, there's only we. There is no I, there's only us. Right? So I don't have an identity in this family or in this relationship. It's only about us or we. This is Pisces energy, right? Interconnectedness, merging, integration. Soar, yes. The victory lap, right? This is you having some sort of epiphany that leads to like a moment of celebration. Like, oh my God, the whole time I was, you feel exhilarated, you feel free. Like you feel happy for the first time in a long time, because it's like, even though you moved out on your own and you're not with your parents anymore, you still felt them in your house, in your head, in your relationships, at your job. And so you're finally like leaving the nest. Sword card. You're being asked to stop dimming your own light. See? The concealment and everything else. Period. It is time for you to come out of the shadows and let your authentic self soar. Fly high, right? And I mentioned you being fake earlier. Not fake like a bad person, like trying to deceive people, but you didn't even know who you were because your parents didn't allow you to develop that part of yourself, because it would be too inconvenient for them, for you to be anything other than what they needed you to be at the time for their convenience. If that makes sense. Let me get one more. See, I always say one more and there's always one more after that. Okay, one more please for the collective. We're at 48 minutes, which is a long time. Okay. 48 minutes and so on. More advice please for the collective. And I want to end it here because I have something else to take care of. One more card please for the collective. One more card for the collective, please. More advice. 1011. Take action. Hope, new beginning, fresh start, lifestyle, purpose, spiritual awakening, courtesy of the Pisces Stellium. This is a call to action to move forward. Keep going. Right? Go your own way. You may, hold on. This is a call to action to move forward. The sooner you get going, the sooner you will accomplish what you set out to do. Those with patience will eventually reap the rewards of their perseverance. And finally, 0, 0, 0, 0. Reset the clock. Reset the karma. The end of this old cycle, old generational curses. Limitless potential. Right. Your parents raised you in a way that was very limiting, very, very restrictive and obstructive to your evolution and development. Reset, relaxation, unknown surrender, finish line. I mentioned the finish line earlier, like an athlete going across the finish line or having some sort of touchdown. And you're like, yeah, I did it. Fuck out of here. Something like that. You can't keep me down. Something like that. Success, victory, 6 of Wands. Once you realize that, oh, I'm not going to say your parents were your enemy, but they were not as altruistic as you thought they were. They were very flawed people. And because they were flawed, they're in no position to be put on a pedestal or worshipped or venerated for anything. Because the way they raised you was not good for your individual growth and development. It was convenient for them. It serves as a timely reminder that anything can be accomplished. If you can dream it, there is no reason you can't make it a reality. If something is in the possession of another person, it's also available to you, right? But you are giving your energy to your parents inadvertently, unintentionally, by way of like living your life according to their rules, their values, their principles, what they wanted from you or of you as a grown person. You were giving your energy to them. So that's why your life stayed small, because you weren't feeding yourself, you were feeding them. So try to remain calm. What's meant for you won't pass you by. Let go of tension, right? I mentioned this exhalation, expiration, inspiration, release, relaxing. Pisces energy. Relaxing as far as like, get your parents out of your head. Your parents were still in your head. They're still over your shoulder. They're still like drilling things into you. They were controlling your life, even though you're grown. And they don't take care of you. They don't do nothing for you at this point. For the most part, I'm assuming they don't do anything for you at all. So why are you still worried about how they feel about you, what you're doing, who you're dating, where you work? That's not their business. And I don't think they really care, because to be honest, you're out of their hair. You're grown now. And if you were to go back to them for any help or support, they'll tell you that you're grown and it's not their responsibility. They did not appreciate the responsibility of taking care of a child. They did it because they had to, I guess, but it wasn't a labor of love for them. It wasn't. It was an obligation, and they saw it that way, and they treated you as an obligation or something to tolerate. Not someone to celebrate and elevate and boost up and give it. They didn't do that. So I'm not saying they're bad people, but they were not who you thought they were. Somebody got Neptune aspect in the moon, Neptune square moon, sun ascendant, like a delusional idea about one's parents in their childhood, thinking that they were more than they were, and they were not. They're flawed human beings. They're not God. They may have thought they were or acted as if they were for you, but actually you're more evolved than they are spiritually. So why are you looking to them for approval and acceptance? They made many mistakes. Okay? All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for listening. Look forward to reading your feedback. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.